Well, hello everyone and welcome. It's the Summit 3 Europe and we are in phase number 2, our first day of phase 2 action. That's right, we got 8 European teams, including the 2 teams that did qualify from phase 1, that being Ninjas in Pajamas, which we're going to be seeing playing right here, and 4 anchors. So it should be a lot of fun. It is double elimination, as I said, and well, we're just looking for 2 teams to make it through. And so our first matchup with me and Purge, it's going to be NiP taking on Cloud9. How you feeling, my man?
Pretty good. It should be a really good match. NiP has been playing really well recently. I cast another set of theirs earlier this week, but it was for Star Ladder instead. And NiP played pretty well. They even had one game where they got pretty far behind and still managed to come back. So that should mean that they have what it takes to beat Cloud9.
From what I've seen from most of these teams, I wouldn't be surprised if anyone can take a game off of anyone. So yeah, I don't think there's any sort of heavy favorite to come into this. So I guess without further ado, we could just kind of hop into the draft at hand. I don't want to be holding anyone out from any of the action.
Cloud9's turn to
we got NiP, who's going to be opening up with a Night Stalker first pick. You don't see that very often. They followed up with a Zeus. For Cloud9, they pick up the Bat Rider and a Venomancer. So Purge, I don't know if these teams have really known what the meta is as of recent, but a first pick Night Stalker and second pick Venomancer seems to be pretty crazy.
It was actually Bat Rider first, and then in response it was Night Stalker Zeus. So that's the only thing to keep in mind. You could argue that Night Stalker is a good Bat Rider counter, because if you get a negative scepter, then you should have a vision advantage over him initiating, especially because Bat Rider's vision is very weak. It's only 800 at day and night, so it's basically like he's a night vision hero all the time, I believe is what the numbers are. I might be wrong on those. So if you get an Ags and it's nighttime, you don't have to worry as much about the Bat Rider getting that stupid advantage that he gets, which is when he pulls one of your guys away. So I think that's maybe why they're doing Zeus covers the same issue. As soon as you see the fight starting, bam, you cast your ulti, and nobody can blink for 3 seconds, unless they pre-BKB'd, which is very unlikely. So it gives you that initiation advantage, and that's what NiP is drafted here.
I feel like if it was more just direct counter to Bat Rider, there's plenty of other good options. I mean, Vengeful Spirit is still in the pool, and you could get that as the classic but I feel like there's something more to it. Like you said, I don't think it's just about Bat. If you look at it, just between Night Stalker and Zeus, that's crazy vision advantage. If he does get that Agnum Scepter, you already got Zeus, of course, with the Thunder God's Wrath. I mean, you're going to be knowing what's going on everywhere at all times. So it's maybe something that they've been toying with a bit, but you can't help but feel like that's a bit peculiar. Plus, we don't know if this is going to be a mid-Night Stalker. A lot of teams have been rolling with a 4-position Night Stalker as of recent. I mean, Cloud9 have done it in one of the recent games. Big Daddy had a nice, solid performance with it. But you know, it's so early and it's a flexible kind of a hero, so they're doing a nice job not putting too much information out there, I guess.
It's pretty good in both positions. Most people don't put it mid because they've been putting a lot of semi-carries mid, like Sniper and Troll and even things like that. Obviously, all those heroes are banned here, but yeah, it could be either position. I think that'd be pretty fine. The only one here I'm kind of confused about is Venomancer. I think Venomancer is pretty weak right now. The only time that people are picking him lately is as a core, is pretty much the only time. And one nice thing about him in this role is that he does counter some kind of popular heroes like Axe, because all the damage prevents you from continuously blinking. You can't use Berserker's Call every 10 seconds, but it seems like Cloud9 has some kind of a draft going on here, especially the order of their picks here it doesn't seem like counters to me. It just seems like they've got something ready and prepared. And considering this is the Summit 3 qualifiers, the teams really want to go to this tournament. It's a huge thing for pro players. They really like going to this tournament, so I'm sure they're saving their best strats for this.
Would not be surprised if maybe a Treant Protector pops up here if they already did have that bit of synergy in mind. But yeah, they quickly fired out this mid-game pickup. Phantom Lancer, which Purge we have come to know and love together as far as defeat.
Get that Diffusal Blade, damn it. Maybe a Yasha
listen,
first.
I'm with you on that. Diffusal Blade has to be in there, but I've seen a lot of different setups here. Ice ran like the off-lane PL with Tranquil Boots. You know, then you got the standard, get the Treads, get the maybe Yasha first, then they finally go for the Diffusal Blade, but it's definitely had its own bits of style. And then they got the Skywrath Mage, so instant silence, you know, works with good lockdown, which they don't have much of.
They have 2 silences, by the way. Night Stalker is 8 seconds at night. Skywrath Mage is up to 4 seconds, if I'm not crazy. 5 seconds?
Which is great for silence, 6 seconds, but do you not worry at all that they have no actual stun as of yet?
I mean, I don't think they have to worry about that much. Look at what Cloud9 has right now. If you silence a line, he's worthless. If you silence a Phoenix, he's worthless. Silencing Venomancer pre-nukes, it's good. But if he casts his stuff, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I think this is an okay draft for them just to have an abundance of silences, considering what the Dire team has. If they'll only have big tanky heroes or escapable nuking heroes like Storm, then you're going to have a bad time if you don't have stuns sometimes. But I think based on the Cloud9 heroes, I think the abundance of silences is just fine. I wouldn't be too concerned. So Cloud9's probably, it's going to be a core Venomancer. Could be mid. They'll probably just sit in mid and get a lot of farm, most likely. Did they have a stand-in? Is that not Fada?
I saw that the second you said it, and I'm like, who is that guy with the bear icon? And I am not going to bother trying to pronounce that name. That's for sure.
It's Boots Capitan, obviously. Come on, man.
Oh, I was looking at the first name. Velukter. I don't know. That was my worst attempt at it there.
Good try.
But
I don't know. I might be right.
So who does that mean they're missing here?
Fada,
by deduction, Fata. Yeah.
So I thought about it. I was like, well,
are we sure it's not him? Because he has played a mid lane Venomancer in the past.
I thought it was a possibility. Fada likes to farm a lot. He farms a lot compared to most mid players. He farms more than he roams in most cases. But obviously it's a good style to have if you work it around your team. And Venomancer mid does farm a lot. If you can get a lot of items, Venom's pretty scary as a core, but it kind of takes a lot, and your hero's very gankable. Your movement speed's really low compared to most heroes. You don't have a stun, so if they get behind you, you gale them, but at that point, they're already within range to disable you, and at that point, you've got like 3 heroes attacking you. It's just, playing mid Veno is vulnerable, potentially, so it's a little weird. I'm a little worried about the hero, and if you get shut down, it's kind of tough. It's a Legion Commander, though, so there's their stun.
Yeah, it's peculiar. It helps with the poison, I suppose, or yeah, you just don't see it for. I mean, if they do, one of the few teams that still runs Legion Commander is Cloud9, so it's funny to see it actually pop up on the other side here. But
I saw a pick on NiP. I think might have been. It was either NiP or the team NiP played against 2 days ago. So I guess they pick it as well. Not too weird. Jonas and Fam. It's hard to pronounce his name for me for some reason.
I say Jonas. I think that works out.
That is actually his first name. I just found it out on
so
TL.
He is now going to be Jonas.
Okay, Jonas.
The Jonas brother.
Jonas and Fam. That's not too hard. You just got to get that first word in there, and then it rolls off the tongue.
Jonas. Well, last pick to come out here for Cloud9. We're wagering that this is a mid lane core kind of Venomancer, so that would leave their secondary support. If it's going to be an off lane Phoenix, no, it can't be because they have a Bat Rider.
Yeah, it's probably support. NoTail has played Phoenix before in the support role. I casted a game like that about a week or 2 ago. It was right after that marathon game, the 3-hour game. Cloud9 did pick Phoenix, and NoTail played in a support role, and he played fantastic. They stomped that game really hard. They used the rage of we just wasted 3 hours of our life to just stomp through. And a Tiny without a wisp.
That's an a la carte Tiny, I like to say.
Rare. Wow.
That's just on its own. That's like getting meat without the potatoes. That's just really, that's interesting to me. But some teams have done, this is where I feel like they might have accidentally flipped team logos, because one of the teams that do this is Era without the Wisp, and Legion Commander. That just leads me to believe that it's like a Cloud9 kind of a team.
It's a good pick here, and the reason is because that the enemy's carry is basically a Zeus doing a lot of damage and a PL, and then they also have a Legion Commander, and then even NS. That's 3 heroes that completely rely on right clicking. And as soon as you get 4 levels of Craigie, you've got a 24% chance at a stun, which means less chance for them to be proccing illusions and all that good stuff. 25% chance. So once he gets Craigie levels, he'll be a really good carry against all those heroes, and I think that's why they picked the Tiny value, because they can use the skills to snowball in their early mid game, and then as we get into the late game, he's going to have a lot of HP, and he's going to be Cragging, and if he even gets Invasion on top of that, it's going to be a bad day for a PL. So I think it'll be a good counter. Lots of AoE counters PL, and he shouldn't have to worry as much about some of the other heroes as long as he has a BKB.
A very early aggressive movement coming out from Hanskin on his Night Stalker. Went deep to put down this Obs ward. It looked like Big Daddy saw him on the way out. He pinged that it was going to be by the cliff side, which is not the case. And just looking over some of the supports here, doesn't look like they have a sentry quite yet, so there's a bit of
it is Fada, by the way.
Here. And it is Fada?
His name is showing, and it's different than his name on the score screen. Must just be a bug or something.
Maybe he rejoined with a different name. Like after he noticed his name was not correct, he might have quickly corrected it, and the thing didn't update in time.
Yeah,
we'll just chalk it up to that. But yeah, definitely here is Fata for now, and I guess that's a reasonable segue into introductions here, as our first runes will be popping up. Cloud9 side, Radiant side, Bone 7. He's going to be playing your Bat Rider. Big Daddy is indeed going to be on that support Phoenix. Down here below Fata, he's going to be playing your mid lane Venomancer. Bottom, Misery, going to be playing your support Lion, and that will leave none other than Mr. Eternal Envy. He is going to be playing your Tiny, non-Wisp Tiny. Purge, if you wouldn't mind, NiP Dire side.
We've got Seal Kid playing Skyroth Mage. On the carry, it's going to be Era playing Phantom Lancer. Towards the mid lane, we've got Hansaiken playing Night Stalker support. Mid lane is Limp playing Zeus, and on the off lane, we've got Jonas and Fam. Almost did it correctly. On playing Legion Commander. So He got a good block here. His range creep ends up dying first. This means this wave will push, although E is going to deny the range. It took just a little bit too much damage here, so I guess the lanes will equalize. But he's still going to get some experience, and he will see this pull very rapidly. And the trick, actually, the really big thing here is, well, actually, Misery got really lucky here. He actually messed up his pull, so he only got 2 creeps in. But that means his creeps are going to deny now. If he had a full wave, he wouldn't have been able to pull through because of the block. So he actually got pretty lucky there with his mess up of a pull, and this will push back towards the Radiant Tower, and that's going to hurt his EXP gain. So got a little unlucky there.
Yeah, Jonas is going to have to be cautious because that's when you're kind of left. But luckily, he does have that side ward, so he can see if there's any rotations there and know when it's comfortable to stay and soak in that early XP or CS and when it's time to pull out. Top lane, we'll have to keep eyes on. Big Daddy working with the side pull here. He's going to try to keep the creeps his way, but now they're considering making a move on to Bone 7. Early Arcane Bolts to fly on out. Some right clicks is going to force him to go into regen, which he only has 1 Tango left because he went with the early boots, it looks like. So, and look, NiP, they're going to be able to bully back C9 in this dual off lane. Not too shabby for him, just more space created for Era to get the early CS gain. And just touching base with mid lane, Fata 6-1, Zeus limp, he's at 9-3, so he has the early initiative here.
Actually took a lot of damage. He did Gale him recently, so did a bunch of right click there. Once he gets enough wards, this is going to be a problem for Zeus because Zeus has a really weak attack animation, range, all that stuff. So the wall of wards isn't going to be easy to kill. There's a gank actually. He is so dead here. That's a haste for Night Stalker. He's going to Gale. That doesn't do anything, and that's the issue. I mean, obviously, that was actually a ridiculous gank either way. Having a haste rune on a Night Stalker this early is so dangerous because the slow's great. So that's just a little unfortunate for him that they did get a haste rune there.
Night Stalker to get involved with a kill before nighttime, I think he's pretty happy here.
Yeah.
So he gets to walk all the way back. He's getting involved already with some early XP boost, and now they've already asserted their dominance in that front. And
he got a
help secure the mid
bottle. Oh no, it's Zeus's bottle. He's going to bring it to him mid.
Yep. Bottle growing a bit more. Fata back now. Unfortunately, was weak and wounded a bit. He's going to start with looks like a 1-1-1 build-up. Purge, it's been quite a while since I've seen my mid lane Venomancers here. Is there a particular build that certainly helps him out? I know Fear had played it for a while, and they continue to build up the wards, and it looks like he's already got 2 points into it. Is it just kind of slowly sieging forward, and maybe at one point you could secure the tier 1 while maybe Zeus looks to go elsewhere? What's the game plan?
So what you do is if you look at what Fata's doing here, he's controlling them all generally. He doesn't auto-attack with them, he waits to last hit with them. So this gives him a really good chance to deny and last hit. And he'll build up enough wards that the enemy hero won't be able to push very much. So he can still get ganked by people wrapping around. That's one of the dangerous parts, is that you do end up pushing a lot. But if you do it smart, like how Fata's doing it, where he just puts it on his hill and he doesn't auto-attack, then he'll be kind of close to his base and should still be able to get a lot of last hits.
It's like a poor man's Shadow Shaman wards to work with. Get that extra bit of CS.
Sports ganking bottom.
Oh, yep, they're watching. From the other side of the tree line here, they know the pull's happening. Maybe they look to cut the tree and just kind of surprise Misery.
Yeah, they can't see him.
They're turning the corner. He's going to creep forward inch by inch. There he catches him out, gets the Void. It's not going to be a silence, but there's the concussive shot and the Arcane. He gets off the Hex onto Seal Kid, but Misery, is still in trouble. Here comes Jonas. The nuke's going to fly out, but they get the job done. It's Jonas who does get the last hit, and already NiP off to a 2-0 start.
They did a great job there by smoking into the enemy's jungle. It's really hard to get there without being spotted, and mid lane was pretty safe. There's pretty much no threat of him dying there, and in the off lane it's what, a Phoenix and a Batrider versus a Phantom Lancer, who in PL can get away using Doppelganger. So they just shifted down there, they interrupt the pulls. The supports are going to be really gimped now. Misery's going to have a bit of a rough game. Oh, he actually does already have boots, so he's not in a terrible position. So that wasn't the worst, but getting a little bit of space for your Legion Commander is really good, because that hero's honestly not that good of an offlane hero. Isn't very self-sufficient by himself.
Yeah, that's what the consensus seems to be from what I've heard lately from a lot of players, but they're persistent to look to make it work. I know there's definitely niche situations where it can work, maybe occasionally against your Brood Mothers, but it looks like Jonas is going to make the best of it for now, and with that kill, he's off to a pretty nice start. Big Daddy had recently been bullied out of that offlane from Era, so he had to step back and heal. He gets his Tranquils, but perhaps looking to find some farm elsewhere, but no, he's actually going to head to bottom. Just looks like hand off the bottle. A little that bottle abuse action happening there. Eternal Envy's going to get the resources back, but you know, it is, as we already pointed out, a wispless Tiny. Does that mean you put more into your mobility, getting drums, getting blink? And well, we might have to hold that thought. They're making the committed dive onto Jonas here with the dive forward from Big Daddy. Gets the Purge on himself. Wow. He's making the run. The stun still connects, but he makes it away. They can't get the job done. Cloud9 come up short on their first real, ganking engagement in the bottom lane.
That movement speed boost that he got from overwhelming odds was amazing. 3 heroes gives him 9 times 3, so that's what, 27% movement speed. That's so much. That's like way more than a Yasha. That's like 50% more. Might almost get a Skywrath, but he misses the Avalanche. I really thought the toss was going to do a lot more damage when they tossed him in the air, but it didn't do that much. It does more. He only had 2 points into it, so only took about 150 magic damage from that probably after a reduction. So they just don't. I mean, the problem with Phoenix Orlan is his damage isn't amazing. You have to get a lot of Fire Spirits off. That takes up to 16 seconds to do. So maybe a gank on the Zeus here. He does get Gale ultied as well. Actually, this is pretty bad for him. He's getting slowed.
Oh, he's done for. Yeah, there comes Big Daddy. He jumps in, help him finish him off, so...
That's a good TP. One cool thing about Phoenix there, your range is so big, it's like you have a Blink Dagger without having any items, so that's one really cool thing about support Phoenix that is maybe needs to be done more, because almost every Phoenix player in pubs is an offlane Phoenix, but we can see the value there. It's pretty offensive, it's not super defensive because you don't have a stun, but you definitely can do some roaming on this hero.
Yeah, quickly can show up, dive to the other side, and before the enemy even knows what's happening, you're in their face and ready to party. And with that, he's able to kind of get a bit of a boost. Phoenix does pride in getting those early levels. You'll even see some of them rush forward for the Midas just so they can secure the early extra XP and get that egg leveled up. Top lane, though, thinking about some harassment. They're going for Bone 7. Era is committed and gets it done. It's a solo pick. I mean, well, Hanskin does get involved, but they take down the Batrider. That's a grab for NiP on each of the lanes already this game.
Yeah, that slow was actually really big from the Night Stalker. If he wasn't there to slow, there was a low chance that, maybe not a low chance, but there's a chance he could have gotten away.
Yeah.
Because once you get into the trees, you can juke and stuff like that, and it's harder for heroes like Melee, heroes like PL to land the last lance to finish things off. He did finish a Vlad's, by the way, so the main benefit of this is that he's going to be able to get maximum regen out of it. In some ways, the PL does need a regen. The Eternal Envy, the way he built it was he went Aquila with treads and a bottle, which is a nice way to get mana, but by getting the Vlad's, not only do you get HP and mana regen, but you can also push the tower stupidly fast. If
he
it's not
TP's in. Era was just kind of standing there waiting, and then when he shows up, throws out the Spirit Lance, and it looks like he will walk away. So that was a bit of an awkward start right there. Mid lane, Fata kind of creeping in, sees Seal Kid nearby, scouts him out with the ward and pokes at him a bit, but just a lot of flirting here towards the mid lane. No one really looking to make the commitment. Bone 7 now from his off lane. Looks like he might need to spend some time in the jungle, but he sees something might break out, so he doesn't want to go too far. But really, how much can he get involved here? So he's going to have to wait and decide on a commitment here, but he might cross paths with Jonas, the opposing offlaner, who's already level 6. Sees him here, could go into a duel, but no, Bone 7 is going to go ahead and take literally the high road and fly over and start working with the camps. So he's going to try to get that Blink Dagger because he is a little bit behind, but there goes the Gale. They're going to try to go on Limp. There's concussive shot. Diving on forwards Phoenix, but they quickly turn it back and blow up the Venomancer. Now they're going to make a go. There's the duel from Jonas. Going to get stunned from Misery. Trying to help out Big Daddy. Can he make it away? The concussive shot should finish him off. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade on those two supports, and it looks like Misery's going to walk away. Jonas second guessing. And it
might. Sorry.
Oh,
wow,
gets
it
him!
does.
Nice snipe right there from Jonas.
Oh, it's right, because it does bonus damage per hero, so it does 160 plus 65. I was like, it's 160, he's got 168 HP. Barely did it off. So now you guys know, the single nuke on a hero does 168 after reduction. So it was barely enough damage.
Well, calculated, I guess. Makes it work. NiP now 6-2. Era's almost getting this top tower, but here comes Bone 7. They both TP in.
He's gonna feed.
Oh, wow. Bone 7 just goes down immediately, and they actually force out the Supernova from Big Daddy, and they just simply walk away. It will cost them the tower as Big Daddy goes for the deny. I say that, but here comes Era. He's like,
this is dangerous. I think he's got it.
Maybe trying to throw the Spirit Lance. Maybe too greedy.
Is he fed?
Uh-oh, I don't know. Big Daddy could be in trouble. Jonas is back. Jumps forward. Drops down the nuke. Oh, he can't make it out. That's going to be a duel. That's going to be a kill. Purge.
Jeez.
They both rotated top. They both ended up dying. All for a deny of a tower.
This Night Stalker has been rotating so well. Man.
Oh, yeah.
He's been in every single gank where he needs to be. And I mean, half the time it wasn't even nighttime, you know? And he's got 5 assists right now. He's been able to pick up treads. He's almost level 6. He's been doing a really great job on the Dire team. And NiP's playing really well. The rotations are solid.
Yeah.
I don't know how well their carry's going to go to the late game, but he is doing pretty fine. He's got 46 last hits. He's not the top CS. Era is doing better, but you know, he's not in a terrible spot. He's got a haste rune as well now. Definitely can kill the Zeus. The Zeus is dead, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he doesn't have a ward, so as soon as they have vision of Zeus, Zeus is dead.
All right, that's what they want.
They pressed care. They said E's missing. He's definitely ganking mid.
Playing very look how far back
maybe
now E's just like, where is he?
Yeah.
He's going to get frustrated by that. This was their chance to get a kill and strike back, but I guess for now they'll just take the space they've made and add some pressure onto the tier 1 mid. But yeah, NiP, man, they've been using their game sense, their map sense to find out where the movement's been from Cloud9. They know when they go missing. They know when they're looking to get something done. But now they've called up some backup here towards the mid. Seal Kid shows up. The Seal team here for NiP. Strong defense, but the wards have already been laid. There's a lot of commitment. Era now showing up. Phantom Lance onto Misery, gets immediately stunned up from Eternal Envy. Silence on the return. Fata jumps in, drops down the Poison Nova, but now he might blow up and will. Very wounded NiP. They want to battle and take him apart. There goes Skywrath Mage. The egg comes out and they burst it. Eternal Envy goes down thereafter. Quickly, 3 Cloud9 members hit the deck, all for just 1 Skywrath Mage. Another great fight for NiP, and Cloud9 continue to come up a little bit short each of these lanes.
And a bit of a different item build from Legion Commander. You want Treads this game, but completely paying off, especially with the attack speed from Press the Attack here. In my experience, I feel like we usually see phase boots on Legion so that they can close the gap, but Treads against an egg is great, and you saw what happens there. In a normal game, Phoenix would have been just fine. He got 6 really fast this game. He wouldn't have gotten killed there, but that's all they really needed is pretty much 1 hero in Legion Commander, and that's probably another reason why they picked the hero. The attack speed increase on the right hero can stop the Fire Spirits, can guarantee that you kill the egg, so we're going to have to see Big Daddy play really careful now.
Yeah, Treads looks great, plus you get the little bit of extra meat on the bones for heroes like, you know, Venomancer, who kind of want to just slowly weaken you away. So very appropriate for this game to have the right pair of shoes, and NiP showing that. It's been a hard game for your Bone 7 Batrider, though, but he is able to throw together a blink and in the smoke. Can he get the grab on Jonas? He can, but he's eating a lot of nuke damage here from Limp. No Thunder God's Wrath quite yet. They will be able to finish off Jonas. So a successful pick for Cloud9, one they really needed. And that was the debut of your Batrider Blink.
It's amazing he's been able to farm this. He felt like he was level 4 for a stupid long time. I thought he was behind, but all of a sudden he's got a blink and he gets a kill with it. So that was fantastic. Really nice job by him.
Finds his way back into it. Top lane, Fata now ventures away from his mid lane setup and is trying to slowly siege forward. Looks like they'd like to clear out some of these tier 1s. You remove this tier 1 top lane. You can, you know, get a bit aggressive inside the NiP jungle, but they're looking to come in from behind. They got a nice smoke. Misery's there, pops his own smoke.
That kind of saves Fata, or it'll turn into a double kill. There's no tier 1, so they can't TP support either. This is really looking bad. If either of these guys show in lane, the gank's going to go on. They're so dead. And a rotation. Yeah, Cloud9 are in trouble. They have just been sandwiched in this top lane. They immediately go for Fata, and they know Misery is somewhere. The Bloodhounds are out, and they're looking to find him. Can the Lion hide? Please don't see me. He should have TP'd it.
Oh, God, no! Yeah, he had a TP on hand, but he didn't want to use it. They scout him. They take him down, and that's free extra damage for Jonas. A valiant effort from Cloud9, but NiP seem to be one step ahead. They pull out the movement to the top. Now we have Eternal Envy here. He's an enemy. Is he waiting for someone to come back and get a quick and easy kill?
Yeah, he wants a one-shot. If he would have waited just a second longer, he could have gotten Zeus. Might have died afterwards, but definitely would have killed Zeus. I think that would have been... I think he could have made it out.
Now they go to mid here. There's 3 NiP nearby. Clarity'd up. They have the resources. They got to be careful.
He's going to have to go
stun. They're going to go. Once they see him do the stun on the wave, they're like, it's time to party. Oh, he tries to TP and he does go down. Ooh. Eternal Envy lingering around this mid lane a little too long, and after he doesn't have the stun, it's just the appropriate time to strike, and NiP are successful. Nightfall will come now as they consider moving forward. Misery peeking at him from the high ground, waits on the stun, gets it there, plus the finger hand skin. Yeah, he was not expecting 3 Cloud9 members to be there at the top of the hill, and he gets the Rude Awakening, and he does go down. Now 5-14.
That's a really big kill for C9. They're far enough behind that they really needed to grab some experience there, and that'll help Misery, but in a big amount. He's got a Bracer at the moment, 400 gold, so he's pretty far away from Blink Dagger. Pretty late compared to what we normally see on him. But I think what C9 needs the most is a mech, because when they start team fights, they're taking a lot of damage of burst stuff, and they're able to dish it out. That's what happened in the mid fight too. If they had a mech, I feel like they could have won that fight instead of the 4-man cleanup that happened. But Fados just had a rough game, and again, that's just kind of the problem with the mid Venomancer. It's pretty easy to gank, and you can't really stop people from doing that to you in most cases. He's only level 9 here. He doesn't have any items other than an Aquila, and a wand, so he's really not gotten a whole lot this game, other than some levels and some CS that haven't translated to anything yet.
You're anticipating he is going to be the mech candidate if there is one. Now, maybe not possible. Big Daddy could pick it up. They get a little bit extra sustain from him.
Could be Phoenix.
And he has an urn. So I figure he's just going to be like that paramedic for the team, if you will.
I think Veno is a really good mech carrier personally, but because he's the core, they might need him with damage. And they're going to find a smoke here. Will they dive on this? They actually are going to. Phoenix in a lot of trouble. Overstays his welcome. Needed to egg right away. Now a duel as well, and Batrider is also going to fall as a result of the Sky ulti. And the chase continues. NiP in a really big advantage. 5 seconds on Blink for Legion Commander to continue the chase, but I doubt he'll catch Misery.
Oh, no, he wants it. He's committed. Oh, he doesn't. Not committed enough to go for the dive, but he's like, ooh, cool stack. I'll do this instead.
Yeah.
Nice. 3 bits of farm. 16-5 now for NiP. Very successful double grab there on the bottom lane, and even more damage in the pocket of Jonas on his Legion Commander. So their damage right click getting that much better for the late game period. But now they take this opportunity. They move into the Roche. Era, who we haven't talked about a lot as of recent, got the Yasha, and he's already got 2 of the Alacrity Blades to go towards that Diffusal. And I feel like whenever Phantom Lancer gets that Diffusal, it just goes from, 50 miles per hour to 100 like that. That's when the damage really starts coming out.
He does way more damage, though. I was going to say I didn't know if they could Roshan, but having the Legion Commander here helps a lot. It'll keep the PL's HP up. And they have a Vlads now, so the Vlads is going to give them both armor and lifesteal. So one of the nice things about getting an early Vlads is that the extra, it's a chainmail for your whole team. It's amazing at any pace of the game, but the only downside is it doesn't give you HP, so it doesn't keep you very survivable against magic nukes. But I think they're going to be okay since they do have a big advantage here.
And obviously for newer players, or players like me who sometimes occasionally forget, Phantom Lancer, those illusions, they're not going to be helping you with Roche. They're going to be dropping at the real quick, and you're not going to really have a lot to add the extra damage taking ability and doing it out. So having someone like a Legion Commander is certainly very, very good. So they'll step back, they'll continue to farm. It looks like C9 still want to try to take down at least this tier 1 in the top lane. They got Bone 7 scouting it out nearby. He's already got the staff trying to put together the Force Staff. But Blink Dagger was the first quick grab for Fata on the Venomancer, so that's more of that committed jump in, get off a huge Poison Nova, your Gale, drop a couple of wards, and hope that you can just kind of clear house and allow someone like EE to clean up quickly. So they're going to look to make the best of it here, and he just continues to siege, and really it looks like NiP are not going to be putting up any sort of defense. Not as of yet.
Yeah, he has a pretty easy way to run away if things are bad, and even if they do kill him, he still has an Aegis, so that could take a lot of hero resources to try to kill him in a fight, and a lot of spells that could be better used against different heroes. This is just better if they trade here since they're behind. They're just going to play it really safe. They're all going to sit behind Fata. They don't want to reveal anything. It's actually a Blink first on Fata, so good choice. It allows him to use his abilities the way that he wants to use them. He can drop a bigger ulti. I mean, his ultimate does a ton of damage, 36 damage times 12. So, and he can get that, if he gets that on 5 heroes, we're talking a big nuke for an ultimate. So, especially once he gets a couple more levels, and his safety problems that he was having before are going to be lessened as well, is the other big advantage. So, hopefully he'll die a bit less in fights, and he should be able to win and get more gold, and hopefully finish Ags and Veil and all that good stuff.
Follow up all that dot damage with a tiny combo plus the Phoenix Egg, and then you got a lot of serious burn. But NiP, they're not looking to allow that to happen. They continue to pressure the spot.
Tiny.
Mask of Madness Tiny, huh? Okay, that's a new one. We don't see that very often.
He did use Avalanche on the creep wave. It's on cooldown right now, otherwise they can maybe win. They're going to grab one.
Nice.
Night Stalker, maybe not the best target to go on. There's the toss. Avalanche now a little bit too late. He really needed that Avalanche earlier there. Arrow's probably going to fall. Egg going down unless the egg dies. Actually, Zeus right-click's never been so mighty. He picks off the egg. There's the ulti as well from Venomancer Wand, but it's probably not enough. We're not even going to see Skywrath Mage die here.
That's disaster.
Maybe we will. If they didn't TP, I guess they would have died. Took a bit too much damage from Poison Sting in addition, so not a good fight. The big mistake there was that EE used Avalanche on the mid creep wave as he approached. The cooldown on that is so long. It's 17 seconds, so as they got into the fight, he wasn't able to chain stun the Night Stalker, and then all of a sudden he just got bursted down. I also don't understand the Mask of Madness here.
I'm sure he popped it there as well.
He did.
And they made the committed jump on the Night Stalker, and so Era's just like free to right-click him, so he's eating all that extra damage from behind. It's just an unfortunate, turn of events right there. Is again the timing, just not with Cloud9. He just committed the stun previously, and they were not in fighting shape, even though they already had the committed jump. So NiP profit the most from it. It's now 21-6. It's going to be an early look at the net worth graph, but it's already past the 10K mark right now. And oh god, there's the jump into duel. They make a go for Fata here. Misery does get a nice stun, but there's going to be the Mystic Flare, and they do get the kill. Not the bonus damage, but the kill. And now Misery has to step back and behind. Bone 7 up in arms with Era, trying to get the flame break. Just Cloud9 trying to create some space for themselves, because NiP, they know they have the power advantage and they want to use it. I mean, the tier 1 is still up and in full force. I mean, it's barely taking any damage, and here they are trying to make fights happen between the tier 1 and the tier 2.
Well, they continue clearing the creep wave. The tier 1's going to drop. Things are not looking good for C9 here. They really needed to win that last fight, but they got wiped again.
I mean, is there a comeback factor here for Cloud9?
I mean,
is it more of just being able to get everything line up?
They got the Batrider, man. And Phoenix is not terrible at team fighting either. It's just he needs to hit level 11 really bad. He needs the extra hits on his Supernova, but it's not going so hot. He's actually died 5 times this game. And there are a lot of silences on an NiP, so...
Thunderbolt. Eternal Envy crosses paths, scouts him out, and he's going to go down. That's unfortunate for him. Just kind of walks into trouble. NiP, they've had this kind of aggression from the start of the game with that Night Stalker and that early movement, and they haven't let up. Misery's also going to get caught with the duel, and that's bonus damage for now your Legion Commander up to 48. 24-6. This is looking like a pretty good stomp right here for game number 1.
Yeah.
It is a best of 3 and a double elimination, but NiP off to a very strong start. Cloud9 really going to have to dig deep here to try to pull this game back at this point. 21 minutes in. And Era, who already has that Diffusal plus a Manta. And, you know, PL, I think he's going to certainly have the number here of your Wispless Tiny.
They really just had awesome heroes to counter what C9 went for this game. It did seem like they picked a weird bit of a strat, but they had a Night Stalker support who has a great silence, and they have a Skywrath Mage, and those two heroes, they just hard counter so many of the C9 heroes, especially the Phoenix. And even if he does get his egg off, then you have the attack speed with the last pickup from Legion Commander. Like, it's very easy for them to deal with it. I still don't like the Mask of Madness on Tiny. I think this was a big mistake. He could have built a Blink with a similar amount of money. He's also got Bottle as well, so it's not like he really needs the regen. I can understand that it does increase your damage, but if you're against a Zeus and you don't have a BKB, it's easily hurting you. It's not even a close call there. The extra bonus damage will just be too much.
Kid runs into Misery. Misery, who does have the
He's
finger.
got a force.
He could get a guaranteed kill here if they want, but doesn't want to commit the finger quite yet. Step back, Mystic Flare. Now the ult comes out from Zeus. Misery could be in trouble. He goes down. No finger for him. And they could get a follow-up onto the Big Bird. Bone 7 gets dueled. It looks like Big Daddy will live for the second life. Yep, pops out. So see you later. Goes to the low ground, but Era's right there. Gets off a Spirit Lance. He's still on the hunt. Doppelganger to the high ground. All the trees go down, and so does the bird. Quickly turns into a 3-for-1 at what started as a C9 gank onto a Skywrath Mage. NiP just continue to get the best of these counter fights as well. And look at this Handskin, who is your, position 4 Night Stalker, is relentlessly going at Eternal Envy. Here comes Zeus, and he gets brought down. 28-7. NiP just so dominant in this game number 1.
Man, this just looks like a completely different C9. They're completely on the back foot. They lost almost all of their lanes, with the exception of maybe Bone 7 catching up with a fast blink, but he's been able to find a force as well, and they're moving around the map getting kills, but they keep getting punished afterwards for it. And now Phantom Lancer's so farmed, he's got Manta and a Diffusal Blade now. He's going to get gripped at least, so... But them killing him is just very unlikely. There it is.
Legion Commander, not just good to go against the egg, good for the Batrider, and you see it right there, but Jonas could be in trouble.
Oh,
Flame Break goes up and above, but they still get him down. That would have been unfortunate right there if he was able to TP away. Bone 7 could have been hitting himself for that one, but luckily it works out. They are able to get the Legion Commander kill, which I guess at this point, Purge, every little kill helps. You got that rubber band, that comeback factor.
Yeah.
And just with that one kill, it's like a 2K gold swing. So
that's ridiculous.
There's profit to be made, but it's getting it. That's the hard part. Because now, just like that, NiP might be able to redeem it by getting another kill here. And yeah, Misery will go down. And of all the people to get it, it's Era. Now godlike on your Phantom Lancer.
There is not a whole lot they can do to stop him now, especially when he gets 4 levels of Phantom Rush. It's a 4-second cooldown. Basically, if you're chasing after somebody, you're not going to stop unless you get stunned. And I would like to see him grab either a Butterfly or a Scotty next. I'll guarantee the chase continues. They're chasing after E now, E running for his life.
He just used the stun on the creeps, and it seems like every time he does, somehow NiP are looking for a way to engage. But he is able to make his way out there on the back of a Mask of Madness and that extra bit of move speed. But NiP just kind of controlling the map from top to bottom. They get work done on Misery top. They throw through mid, and now they're at bottom lane looking for Bone 7. They get the nuke, and now he's got that Yules to show off. Waits for him to land. Concussive shot. Boom! Limp gets it. Now wicked sick for him. 8-30 for NiP. And, well, they continue to build up more. Mithril Hammer now complete on your Legion Commander. Looks like a BKB to help with all that poison. certainly could be a solid grab.
He's got so many items. I mean, he hits
They're
really
just
hard
ripped.
too. He's doing so well that he can solo kill heroes, and that's very rare for Legion commanders in pro games at least. There's not a lot of times where they do stupidly well, but the really good supports from the rotations made such an impact there. Just allowed him to have a much better early game, which transitioned really well into the mid game as well. The supports on NiP just play really well.
Yeah.
I think they're really talented guys.
They just, especially that haste rune on Night Stalker, kind of set the tempo
Super
for your
skilled.
mid lane.
Yeah.
That S4 rune takes skill. So
he's got his courier flying up, by the way, so Ags is going to be finished on NS. They've still got about 2 minutes until the next nighttime, so they won't be able to profit from it for long, or for a bit, but when they do, I think they should be able to control the next towers, preferably the tier 2s. Maybe get a gem as well and just start dewarding like crazy.
here it
That's
comes.
what they'll aim for.
The magic Agnum Scepter here for your Night Stalker, level
It's before Tiny has it, by the way.
13. And yeah, let's see, where's EE at here?
I
He's got an Ogre
assume
Club.
his net worth is higher. Yeah, his net worth is higher than Tiny's, just barely. It's a bad sign.
It's a very bad sign. They'll need a really good fight here for C9 to try to bring it back, but he'll just farm what he can for now. And, you know, I just can't help but feel like what was the game plan here? Going with that last pick, Tiny. I'm just trying to rattle my brain. Could there have been something more?
I think it's a good hero against the carries that NiP has. It's just, it looks terrible because they're so behind, but the hero's not the mistake here. I think it was just they needed a better early game. And Tiny is decent in their early game. He's not a bad carry. He's got a stun. He has a big burst damage. If they can burst people down at the start of the fight, yeah, they could win fights, but it just didn't really happen. And they're so far ahead now. Like, it doesn't matter what he's got. PL is going to go for a heart, by the way. He's got a Reaver here.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense if you are able to put together the early boost and get that farm on Tiny. You got an Agnum Scepter. Pretty much PL illusions are not a problem whatsoever. You got that huge cleave. So, yeah, that certainly does make sense. And now I can see where you're coming from. Just kind of being crippled at the start. And NiP doing a nice job knowing when they have the power advantage and continually taking advantage of it. Not getting a bit lackluster, allowing C9 to kind of catch up. It's just as long as they're able to bully him, they'll continue to do so. Shoving him into lockers, giving him swirlies, purge, whatever you got to do.
All the good stuff,
Keep him in check. You know, the stuff I experienced in high school.
Yep.
Most of us did. Dota players. Anyways, moving down mid lane. You know, Fata trying to lay down a formidable defense, putting the wards to slow down this PL army. But they are eventually going to make their way towards this tier 2. They have the Aegis now in hand of your PL. So Heart, Aegis, how are they going to bring him down twice? It seems like it's hard enough as it is to do it once.
Tough.
He's a raid boss to the T.
He has so much HP compared to where the game is. Like, even a Venom ulti and a Veil or something like that is not going to get him killed, I don't think.
He'll shrug it off. Almost the Heart will out-regen it at this point. Very unfortunate. But there's going to be the tier 2 to go down. And NiP to get more and more. Only one more outer tower stands here for Cloud9, that top tier 2. Considering a breach onto the high ground, it looks like they'll go for it. As long as Era has that extra life, they might just kind of tantalize putting him out in front, and poking here at this tier 3 with their backup staff waiting in the wings. Jonas, that blink, that duel. If anyone overextends. Meanwhile, Eternal Envy trying to split push this top lane, adding some pressure on that tier 2. Waiting till it's absolutely necessary to use that TP to come back to base, but
they're just losing mana here from the illusions.
Yeah.
They just can't slow things down. They're trying to kill the Plague Wards here because they are disabling his Heart. That's the important part. But he's just going to finish off here with a little bit of press the attack. There's the lasso.
Yeah, he gets
good Yules.
Yeah, there's just, now he's trying to bring him away. Era's not going anywhere. There's a nice stun and a toss.
He's BKB late.
But yeah, EE just goes down immediately, and now it's going to be the second life here for Era. Jonas might be in a bit of trouble. Gets hit up with some damage, has his BKB, walks on out. Okay, big poison Nova. Era, though, he's bigger. Walks on through him, now going for Misery, who could be in trouble. You're lying. Going to be brought down beyond godlike. Cloud9 have had enough. They throw in the towel. GG for game number 1. It's going to go to NiP. Very dominant, 8-33 performance.
It really was. Amazing game played by them. There wasn't really much C9 could do after the first 2 fights or so. Just they messed up those fights just a little bit too bad. The mid fight wasn't necessarily it wasn't a bad play by them. They played that well. It's just NiP had the advantage there in the heroes maybe in the combos. Maybe they just outplayed him slightly, but NiP stomped 2 or 3 fights in a row, and then they just got so far ahead in the itemization from C9. Maybe it wasn't the best, but the main issues the heroes just got killed. I think it was just really good synergy from NiP and really good plays as well. They had the heroes to counter the enemy heroes, and their ultimates weren't quite used correctly. Phoenix Egg got blown up every single fight, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Good synergy coming from NiP. Cloud9, hopefully they can shake it off. It is a best of 3, so we'll see if NiP will be able to clean out this series 2-0, or if Cloud9 will be able to strike back and take it to that magical Game 3. I'm KotLGuy, that's Purge. We'll be back in just a moment for game number 2. Sit tight.